Colors and frequencies, the ritual language of light. Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and today we're going to decode one of the most powerful programming tools in the symbolic arsenal, color. Because color isn't just visual, it's vibrational. It affects your hormones, your behavior, your emotional response, and your energetic state. In ritual performance, in branding, in political theater, and even in the clothes you wear, color is not just a styling choice. It's a command, a code, a psychological spell cast through frequency. Color is energy that we perceive as light waves. Each hue carries a measurable wavelength and frequency, which interacts with our nervous system whether we're aware of it or not. Ancient cultures understood this. They painted temple walls in specific tones, dressed their priests in precise combinations, and scheduled rituals based on seasonal light shifts. Why? Because color could invoke a state. It could open a gate. It could program a collective response faster than any speech or symbol. And that same power is being used right now. Not in temples, but on red carpets, in ad campaigns, in music videos, and on your phone screen. Let's begin with red. Red is the color of blood, power, sacrifice, sexuality, and emotional intensity. It stimulates the root chakra. It activates survival energy. It excites the nervous system. In ritual symbolism, red is often used for offerings. That's why the red carpet is not just glamorous. It's a ritual path. When a celebrity walks that carpet, they're not just attending an event. They're participating in a symbolic procession. Red is the path of visibility, but also vulnerability. It signals that this person is being presented, crowned or sacrificed, depending on the context. In performance, red costumes, red lighting, or red liquid, especially when stylized as blood, always carry sacrificial resonance. Whether it's a pop star covered in red latex or a dancer bleeding from the mouth, the color is doing the spiritual heavy lifting. Next is white. Often mistaken for purity, white actually represents reflection. It carries all frequencies of visible light and reflects them outward. In ritual, white is used to symbolize the veil, the blank slate, the hidden or cloaked truth. White can be used to purify or to sanitize, to strip identity, to wipe memory, or to create a false sense of peace. That's why ritual masks are white. That's why hospital gowns are white. That's why the most innocent characters in performance are often dressed in white just before they're corrupted, sacrificed, or transformed. In many ceremonies, initiates are dressed in white before undergoing trauma or transcendence. The color doesn't just symbolize beginning, it marks the moment before programming begins. Black is the inversion of white. It absorbs all visible light. It conceals. It cloaks. It is used in ritual to signal authority, mystery, or death. In fashion and entertainment, black is used to code seriousness, elegance, or control. But on a deeper level, black is the frequency of power without transparency. That's why judges wear black robes. That's why high-level occult ceremonies are conducted in black garments. Black absorbs energy. When paired with red or white, it usually marks a polarity ritual, contrast between seen and unseen, offered and taken. And when a performer wears black in a ritual setting, especially when surrounded by contrasting light or fire, it often signals the embodiment of the controlling force, whether they know it or not. Now let's talk blue. Blue is the frequency of trust, hypnosis, and surveillance. It is calm, stable, authoritative. It represents the throat chakra, the seat of speech and truth, but it also carries the coldness of control. That's why police uniforms are blue. That's why corporate tech logos are blue. That's why social media verification marks, the blue check, are blue. Because blue subconsciously signals, this is real, this is official, you can believe this. But in ritual terms, blue can also suppress. It cools the emotional body. It disconnects from passion and anchors into intellect. That's why blue is often used in political debates, news sets, and AI interfaces. It invites compliance, but it also quiets rebellion. Gold is the frequency of divine kingship, solar charge, and spiritual currency. In ancient ritual, gold wasn't just a material, it was a sacred conductor. It aligned with the sun, the divine masculine principle, and the idea of energetic wealth. Gold is never neutral. It always declares authority. That's why you'll see gold crowns, gold altars, gold-plated logos, and gold accents in all high ceremonial performance. In fashion, gold marks ascension. It turns the performer into a god figure. And in ritual magic, gold is used to amplify intent. If a performer is covered in gold or surrounded by gold light, they are not just playing a role. They are embodying a charge meant to be projected onto the audience. Let's move to purple, the color of royalty, priesthood, and bloodline authority. Historically, purple dye was so rare and expensive that only the elite could afford it. That's why it came to symbolize sovereignty. In spiritual systems, purple corresponds to the crown chakra, the point of spiritual knowing and divine connection. But in ritual use, purple is also the color of the initiated. It signals that a performer has passed through fire and returned with knowledge. That's why purple is often used in return arcs, when a public figure comes back from a scandal, a breakdown, or a symbolic death. You'll see purple lighting in concerts, purple robes in stage design, or purple accents in rebranding. The message being encoded is, This one has been crowned. But crowned by whom, and at what cost? Pink, often marketed as feminine or sweet, has its own symbolic layer. In performance programming, pink is not about softness. It's about infantilization. Pink is frequently used to portray performers as childlike, naive, or overly sexualized under the guise of innocence. Think about pop stars in baby pink dresses, candy-colored sets, or plastic-themed music videos. It's not aesthetic, it's archetype. Pink becomes a veil for programming, a shield for exploitation, a uniform for the doll. And when a performer transitions out of pink into black, red, or purple, that's the moment of ritual transformation, often into a darker persona. Other colors matter too. Green is associated with nature, heart energy, or rebirth. But in ritual performance, it can also symbolize artificial life, cloning, or synthetic identity. You'll often see green used in futuristic or dystopian staging to create an emotional confusion between the organic and the artificial. Silver, often tied to the moon or feminine reflection, becomes the uniform of the AI, the android, the post-human figure. It's no accident that so many performers are now styled in metallics, chrome, or mirror suits. It reflects the theme of identity erasure. Even the sequencing of colors in performance matters. A red dress with white gloves is not random. Black costumes on a white set flooded with blue light. That's not stage design. That's a ritual formula. Color is never used without reason. Not when budgets are this high. Not when symbolism is this dense. These choices are not mistakes. They are embedded codes. And it goes beyond costume. The lighting design, the LED visuals, the stage wash, the filters applied to camera footage. All of these carry frequency. Blue strobe light disorients the pineal gland. Red LED floods trigger emotional overdrive. Rapid color shifts combined with sound create hypnotic loops. You think you're watching a performance, but your nervous system is being tuned like an instrument. Your energy is being modulated like a wave. This is why symbolism through color must be taken seriously. Because the subconscious mind doesn't argue with color. It receives it. It adjusts to it. It absorbs the emotional message even if your rational mind misses the cue. The red carpet is not red for luxury. It's red because it marks the road to the altar. The stage is not lit in blue for tech aesthetics. It's blue because it suppresses rebellion. The gold outfit is not glam. It's a crown, a claim of divine right. And every time you look without asking what you're looking at, the spell completes itself. You live in a world saturated with frequency. From the clothes you wear to the colors on your screen, you are being spoken to without words. And that language? It's not just design, it's ritual, it's vibration, it's charge. Now that you see it, start asking, who chose this palette? What am I being told to feel? What spell is being cast through light? And more importantly, do I accept the frequency or do I reclaim my own? Hi, I'm Adeline Atlas. 11 times published author and School of Soul has just released one of our most requested deep dives, the Magic and Occult series. This series is not for the faint of heart. It's for those who know there's more going on beneath the surface, behind the media, behind the family, behind the system. This series breaks the spell and hands you the map. The Magic and Occult series includes over 200 videos on 1. Entertainment or ritual. Decoding mainstream media as mass spellwork. 2. Occult families. Spot them. How generational magic and ritual lineage hides in plain sight. 3. Occult symbolism. The signs, seals, and signals used to claim, curse, or command. 4. Esoteric symbolism. Layered meaning, sacred geometry, and encoded messages. 5. Law is magic. How contracts, courts, and language are rituals of power. 6. Spells and spirits. What magic really is, and what happens when you use it. 7. Covens and lodges. Where modern ritual happens, and who's involved. 8. Destiny swapping. How rituals steal timelines, talent, or soul contracts. 9. Energy harvesting. Spiritual parasitism, and how to seal your field. 10. The clairs. Your intuitive senses. Clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and more. 11. Become magical. How to strengthen your gifts, protect your mind, and wield conscious force. 12. Miracles are real, divine intervention, faith portals, and supernatural reversals. 13. The chosen ones. What sets them apart and why they're always targeted. 14. The black sheep, the generational breaker, often isolated by design. 15. Targeted individuals, spiritual and technological targeting of aware souls. 16. Gang stalking, organized spiritual and psychological warfare. This is the most revealing, most spiritually advanced, and most protective series SOS has ever released. If you've ever felt something was off about this world, this will confirm it and prepare you for what comes next. Your protection begins with knowledge. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault.